My beloved child, there is a tremble in the spiritual realm tonight, and Archangel Michael is urging you to hear every word without breaking your focus, not even for a second. Because what happened on December 7th was not a small disturbance, it was an event that tried to rewrite the piece of your destiny. And if you miss even a single breath of this message, you may never understand the magnitude of what was blocked for you. On that day, a shadow moved toward you with intention. It carried confusion, fear, and a weight designed to crush your clarity. But Archangel Michael stepped between you and that unseen force with a sword that glowed brighter than the very thing that tried to break you. He didn't just defend you, he intercepted something that would have altered the atmosphere of your life permanently. And now, he says that same energy is trying to rebuild its strength, searching for the cracks it once found. Listen closely, child of light, because this message is not just information, it is a shield, a warning, a divine intervention arriving exactly when your spirit needs it most. Archangel Michael shows me that you felt something on December 7th. A shift, a heaviness, a sudden anxiety for no reason, a strange tiredness, a moment you couldn't explain. You passed it off as stress or exhaustion or just one of those days. But it was more than that. It was an assignment, a spiritual arrow aimed directly at the root of your peace. An attack that came quietly, pretending to be ordinary. But you were not left alone. The great defender, the guardian of divine order, raised his shield over you. He says, your name was spoken in the heavens long before the attack even formed. There is something about your purpose that draws attention from both realms. Your presence carries weight. Your calling carries disruption. When you rise, darkness trembles. And when heaven sees danger rising against you, angels are dispatched before you even realize storms are gathering. Archangel Michael is revealing that the force that attempted to reach you on December 7th was trying to attach itself to your thoughts because your mind is the gateway to your peace. It wasn't after your finances, your home, or your relationships first. It was after the place where your decisions are born. A battlefield of clarity, the doorway of discernment. But here is the truth that will shock your spirit. You were about to step into a season of divine calm, spiritual stability, and emotional rest. And that dark force knew it. That's why the attack came right before the shift. That's why it aimed at your peace, because if it could fracture your inner stillness, it could delay your next breakthrough. But Michael says, I intervened, but the residue of that attack is circling. It has not surrendered. It has not dissolved. It is waiting for you to become distracted long enough to find an entrance again. This is why you are hearing this message right now. This message is not late. This message is not random. This message is the continuation of the protection that began on December 7th. And there is more, something deeper, something Archangel Michael is now releasing. The attack that came for you once will attempt to rise again because it recognizes your peace as a threat. Your calm is prophetic. Your stillness is anointed. Your clarity is dangerous to darkness. When your spirit is settled, you hear divine direction clearly. And when you hear clearly, you move in ways that shake the plans of the enemy. That is why you must hear this warning with your full attention. Because the second wave of that attack grows stronger every moment you remain unaware of its pattern. Michael says there is a window to seal this, and that window is now. Child, there is something you are about to step into, something that requires your spirit to be unshaken. A conversation is coming. A decision is coming. A sudden opportunity is coming. Something that needs the full version of you, not the drained, confused, anxious version that the December 7th attack was trying to create. Archangel Michael is not speaking to scare you. He is speaking to position you. He wants you to understand the magnitude of what you're being protected from, and the magnitude of what you are being prepared for. You are not being hunted, you are being refined. You are not being weakened, you are being awakened. You must stay with this message, because the next revelation he is preparing to release will show you who sent that attack and why it targeted you specifically. Hold your spirit steady, because what unfolds next will help you identify the doorway that needs to be sealed permanently. Before you continue, pause for a moment. Feel the truth resonating in your chest. Your spirit already knows something has been off, something shifted, and this message is the missing piece. And child, hold on, because what comes next will open your eyes in a way you've never experienced before. Type "I claim my peace" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Lesson code 144 is now active. Precious soul, there is a stirring in the atmosphere around you right now, and Archangel Michael is guiding me to speak this next part with precision, because what I am about to reveal will help you understand the true nature of the attack that came on December 7th. This is not just the continuation of a message, this is a continuation of the divine shield that has been surrounding you for weeks without you even knowing it. Stay close. Stay open. Stay aware. Because this is where the veil begins to lift. Michael shows me that the attack was not random. It did not come out of nowhere. It came from an energy that has been studying your movements, monitoring your emotional patterns, waiting for moments when you feel vulnerable, tired, or spiritually unguarded. This force recognized that your peace is your compass. When your spirit is calm, you see clearly. When your mind is steady, you make powerful choices. And when you make powerful choices, you break cycles that were designed to keep you stuck. On December 7th, something tried to pull you backward. It attempted to resurrect old doubts, old fears, old worries, old shadows that you thought you had already defeated. But Archangel Michael stepped in, not because you were weak, but because your next season demanded divine reinforcement. He says, your life is entering a phase where distractions cannot be allowed. This battle was not about harm, it was about interruption. You felt it, didn't you? That sudden shift in your emotions, that strained heaviness in your chest, that feeling of being spiritually drained even after resting. It wasn't simply a bad day. It was a spiritual attempt to distort your inner guidance. Michael reveals that the attack targeted the part of you that carries discernment. Because when your discernment is dim, the enemy can whisper lies that sound like truth. Confusion becomes louder, doubt becomes stronger, and your own intuition becomes harder to trust. But here is the divine twist. The very reason the attack tried to silence your inner voice is because your spirit is about to receive a new level of clarity, so sharp, so elevated, and so unshakable that it will expose things around you instantly. People, intuition, intelligence, opportunities, hidden motives, false alignments, closed doors pretending to be open ones, open doors disguised as closed ones. There is something coming toward you that requires heightened awareness, a moment where your spirit must be awake and your peace must be intact. That is why Michael is saying, I blocked the first wave, but you must prepare for the echo. The echo is subtle, but it always tries to return. Not to overpower you, but to convince you to doubt yourself. This is where you must listen very carefully. Archangel Michael is revealing that the attack came through a familiar pattern. Something that has shaken you before. An emotional trigger. A memory. A fear. A worry. A recurring thought that tries to plant seeds of instability. This pattern was used before, and it was used again on December 7th. not because it is powerful, but because it is familiar. The enemy always uses what feels familiar, because familiarity makes it harder to detect. Michael says, "Tell them, the attacker was not a person. It was a frequency, a vibration sent through circumstances, energy, and spiritual atmosphere. A wave of heaviness that tried to cling to your spirit so your peace would crumble from the inside out. But he blocked it. He stood in front of you. He intercepted the arrow. And now he is giving you insight so you can seal the breach permanently. There is a portal of peace opening for you soon. A calm that will feel foreign because you haven't experienced this level of stability in a long time. But before the calm comes, revelation must come. You must understand what targeted you so you can stand firm if it tries again. Child of truth, Archangel Michael needs you to stay with this message, because the next layer he is about to reveal will show you exactly how the attack tried to enter, not in a general way, but in a precise, personal way. The doorway it used, the weakness it attempted to manipulate, the moment it tried to sneak into your emotions. Once you see it, you will never fall for the same strategy again. Your life is stepping into a chapter where you cannot afford emotional sabotage. Not now. Not when you are this close to a breakthrough you prayed for. There is an opportunity, a shift, a divine alignment forming, and the attack on December 7th was a last attempt to block you from recognizing it. Stay cozy, child. Hold steady. You're about to understand what the enemy hoped you would never see. And before we move into the next revelation, let your spirit breathe for a moment. Feel the truth that is unfolding. Something in you already knows this message is uncovering hidden layers you couldn't articulate. And trust me, this is where it gets even deeper. Type "I stand in divine protection" in the comments if this is touching your spirit. Lesson code 411 is now active. Beloved soul of light, as I step deeper into this revelation, Archangel Michael is urging you to stay present, because this is the moment where the hidden doorway of the December 7th attack begins to reveal itself. What I am about to speak is not surface level, not vague, not symbolic. This will touch the exact place where the enemy tried to enter. And once this truth is exposed, that doorway will never hold power over you again. Michael shows me something striking. The attack did not start outside of you, it started around something emotionally sensitive within you. A memory, a disappointment, a worry that returns when you feel unguarded. It is something you've carried for a long time, something you try to ignore, but it resurfaces in moments when your spirit is tired. That weak point is what the enemy targeted on December 7th, not because you're fragile, but because that area of your heart holds influence over your peace. You may not have realized it, but that day your emotions felt slightly off, your mindset felt a little cloudy, and you sensed a drop in your inner stability. Not dramatic, but noticeable enough that it didn't feel like your usual energy. That moment of imbalance was the exact second the attack attempted to slip through. But here is the miracle. Archangel Michael cut off the connection before the attack could attach itself. He blocked the link before it reached the core of your spirit. He prevented something that would have altered your peace for weeks, maybe months. He severed the influence that came to distort your inner voice. And he says now, you need to understand this so you can close what was left open. The doorway the enemy used was emotional vulnerability. Not weakness. Vulnerability. A place in your soul that hasn't fully healed yet. This is why the attack didn't come through external events first, it came through a feeling. A sudden shift inside you. A moment where your heart felt unprotected. The enemy always targets where the heart is still tender. But Michael continues to show me something powerful. That vulnerability exists because you care deeply, You feel deeply. And people like you, those with sensitive spirits, prophetic intuition, and gentle hearts, are often targeted simply because their empathy is a weapon against darkness. Your softness is not your downfall. It is your anointing. And that is why Archangel Michael guards you with such intensity. He reveals that the December 7th attack tried to awaken old emotional patterns you've outgrown. Patterns that once controlled your decisions. Patterns that once distracted you from your purpose. Patterns that once silenced your spiritual authority. But the reason this attack failed is because you are not the same person you once were. You have outgrown the traps that used to catch you. Michael says, they tried to enter through the past, but the past no longer owns them. This is why you may have felt strange waves of emotion that didn't match your reality. You may have felt sadness without reason, overthinking without a trigger, a heaviness that made no sense. That wasn't your emotion, it was an attempted emotional invasion. But listen closely now, you are being led into a season where your peace will not only return, it will multiply. Not because your circumstances change instantly, but because your spiritual awareness is rising. And when awareness rises, peace becomes unshakable. You begin to recognize attacks before they even reach your doorstep. You begin to sense shifts before they manifest. You begin to guard your heart with wisdom instead of fear. This is why Michael is unveiling this mystery, not to scare you, but to empower you. You are being positioned to stand in a level of spiritual maturity that protects your destiny from subtle sabotage. Child of heaven, Archangel Michael is about to reveal something remarkable in the next message, something about the source of the attack, not the emotion that carried it, not the pattern that opened the door, but the spiritual origin of the energy that tried to reach you. This will be one of the most eye-opening revelations of your journey, and your spirit is being prepared for it. Before we go further, I want you to breathe deeply. Let your heart recognize the truth that has been unfolding. You are not imagining these feelings. You are not exaggerating what you sensed. You are not overreacting. Your sensitivity is proof of your spiritual calling. And what you feel, heaven confirms. Hold on, beloved soul, because what waits in the next revelation will help you understand why the enemy keeps returning and why heaven keeps fighting for you. If this message is awakening your spirit, type I am protected by light. Blessing code 229 is now activated. And beloved, before you move forward, take a moment to support this mission by liking this video, sharing it with someone who needs protection, commenting to raise the spiritual signal, and subscribing so you never miss a message sent for your destiny. Your engagement pushes this message into the paths of others who are silently fighting the same unseen battles. Beloved heart, as we move through this divine revelation, let me speak to you directly. When you support this mission, whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a global awakening of souls who need these angelic messages in their darkest hours. Heaven moves through willing vessels, and your seed becomes the oil that carries light into places where shadows have ruled for too long. I hear the Spirit whisper, "What you release for my work, I will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing." And if you feel that fire in your chest right now, that is the holy prompting. I am calling you to stand with me in this work. Just as Archangel Michael shielded you on December 7th, your support helps shield others who have no idea warfare is happening around them. Release your offering as an act of faith, and may the heavens respond to your obedience with divine protection, multiplied peace, and supernatural breakthrough. Step into this blessing. Move now. Chosen soul, as I step into this next unveiling, Archangel Michael's presence intensifies around this message, urging you to stay centered because what I am about to reveal will shift the way you see the December 7th attack forever. Up until now, you have understood what the attack did, how it approached, and where it targeted. But now we move into the revelation of who sent it, or rather, what spiritual source tried to intertwine itself with your life. This is the moment where the unseen becomes visible, and the hidden becomes undeniable. Michael shows me that the force behind the attack was not born from a person's intention, but from a spiritual imbalance that grew through repeated emotional cycles. This force is something that has hovered around your energy before, usually during seasons when you were close to breakthrough. It thrives on emotional disruption, confusion, and tension. It grows strength when you feel disconnected from yourself. It watches for moments when your inner peace becomes stretched thin. This is the same force that tried to approach on December 7th. But the shocking truth is this energy did not originate in your present. It originated in your past. Many years ago, during a period of emotional upheaval, a spiritual imprint formed around you. Not by your choice, not by your actions, but by the circumstances you were surrounded by. That imprint carried a vibration of fear, attachment, and internal conflict. And although you have outgrown the situations that created it, the vibration remembered you. Michael says, the attack came from a memory of your former battles, not the reality of your current strength. In simpler words, the force tried to reach you based on who you used to be, not who you are now. It does not recognize the evolution of your spirit. It does not understand that the old doorways no longer fit your new identity. It is stuck in a past version of you, one that you have already buried. That is why the attack failed. It aimed for a version of you that no longer exists. But Archangel Michael wants you to understand the source deeply, not fearfully. The energy was not demonic in the dramatic sense. It was energetic residue, a spiritual echo, a leftover frequency from old pain, old trauma, old turmoil, old disappointments that once shook your peace. And on December 7th, that energy attempted to awaken, hoping you would recognize it, respond to it, and fall back into patterns you've already healed from. It tried to trigger the old you, but the old you did not answer. This is why the attack felt familiar yet strange. You felt the emotion rise, but it didn't feel like it belonged to you anymore. There was a disconnect, a confusion, as if your mind and spirit were not in full agreement about what you were feeling. This is because the emotion was not present, it was remembered. And the vibrational imprint tried to reattach itself by feeding off that moment of vulnerability. But Archangel Michael intercepted it at the spiritual boundary. He cut the connection before the energy could slip into your emotional field. He protected your mind, your clarity, your inner voice, and your peace from being distorted. And now he is revealing the truth so you can close the imprint permanently. Michael shows me a powerful vision, a timeline stretching behind you, with points of emotional pain glowing faintly like embers. Some embers are bright, others are dim. But on December 7th, one of those old embers tried to reignite itself. Not to destroy you, but to regain access to the influence it once had over you. But Michael says, they have crossed into a new frequency. The old attachments can no longer survive there. Your spirit has risen too high. Your discernment has sharpened too deeply. Your awareness has expanded too widely. The spiritual frequencies that once resonated with old emotional wounds no longer match your new vibration. You have outgrown them. And this is why the December 7th attack felt like an outside force. It no longer belongs to your present spiritual identity. But here is where the revelation gets profound. The source of the attack resurfaced because you are entering a chapter where emotional freedom is no longer optional. It is required. Heaven is trying to elevate you into a season of opportunities, conversations, relationships, and decisions that demand a stable inner world. The attack was not a punishment. It was a signal that something inside you is being upgraded. Michael says, your peace is your gateway to divine guidance, and heaven is securing that gateway. This is why you may have recently felt drawn to rest, to silence, to reflection. Your spirit hath been preparing itself for the next dimension of clarity. The attack was simply a reminder that emotional stability is sacred, protected, and vital to your destiny. Child of the Most High, this message is not just information, it's preparation. Because the next layer of revelation will show you what heaven is about to release into your life now that the attack has been blocked. The blessing that was preserved, the peace that is being restored, the opportunity that is being aligned, the shift that is unfolding right now in your atmosphere. Stay close, beloved. What comes next will explain why the enemy was so desperate to reach you, and what heaven is positioning you for next. Type "My peace is sealed" in the comments if this is awakening your spirit. Blessing code 515 is now released. Sacred One, as we move deeper into this revelation, Archangel Michael is drawing your attention to something extraordinary, something you may have sensed without fully understanding. The December 7th attack was not only blocked, it triggered a shift in the spiritual realm that is now working overwhelmingly in your favor. What tried to disturb your peace has unintentionally revealed just how protected, guided, and spiritually aligned you truly are. And now heaven is positioning you to step into what the enemy was trying to distract you from. Michael shows me a powerful truth. When darkness attempts to strike, it unknowingly exposes the light that is rising within you. Because attacks do not come when nothing is changing. They come when everything is changing. They come when something new is forming. They come when a breakthrough is nearing its manifestation. And that is exactly what happened around December 7th. The attack was a sign of your rising, not your downfall. In the spirit realm, your name began glowing. Your path began clearing. Your next chapter began aligning. Doors that were once blocked started weakening. Opportunities that were delayed began shifting. Relationships that no longer serve your soul started loosening. A new dimension of peace started opening, and the old frequencies panicked. That is why the attack aimed at your emotional center. Because peace is the foundation of your elevation. If your peace is shaken, your clarity dims. And if your clarity dims, your next step becomes harder to see. But heaven refused to let that happen. Michael says, your elevation has already been stamped. Nothing can remove the seal. This is why the force that approached you on December 7th felt desperate. It was not powerful. It was weakening. The attack wasn't a sign of your vulnerability. It was a sign of your victory. The enemy reacted because you are stepping into a phase where divine calm will surround you like a shield. The kind of peace that cannot be shaken by outside noise. The kind that leads to unimaginable clarity. The kind that reveals exactly who belongs in your life and who does not. Michael shows me a tidal wave of peace moving toward you. Not the kind of peace that simply makes you feel better for a moment, but the kind that reshapes your emotional world. The kind that closes old wounds. The kind that silences internal conflict. The kind that unlocks your intuition so clearly that you begin seeing through people, situations, and spiritual energies instantly. This is why the old frequencies tried one last time to pull you back. Because once this new peace settles in your spirit, you will stop entertaining old thoughts. You will stop revisiting old memories. You will stop carrying old emotional burdens. You will stop dimming your power to make others comfortable. When this peace arrives, you will break the cycle forever. Michael says their peace will become their weapon, and that is why your protection has been so intense, because heaven knows that once you enter this next phase, nothing will have access to your spirit the way it once did. But here is the part that will shift your understanding completely. The December 7th attack revealed to heaven which part of your soul still needed sealing, and heaven responded instantly. You are being strengthened internally, reinforced spiritually, elevated emotionally. Your heart is being carried out of old environments, old attachments, and old energies. Internal shifts you've been feeling are not random. They are divine remodeling. Heaven is clearing the space for what is coming. A moment is approaching in your life, an opportunity, a revelation, a connection, or a turning point that requires your peace to be unbreakable. And because that moment is so important, heaven did not allow anything to disrupt the foundation of your spirit. This is why Michael is speaking so clearly. You are being prepared for something that will require clarity, boldness, and emotional steadiness. Child of rising light, the protection you have received is the confirmation that something extraordinary is aligning for you. And in the next revelation, Archangel Michael is preparing to show you what this preserved peace is leading you toward, the blessing that the attack tried to interrupt, and the shift that has already begun. Hold steady, the next unveiling will touch the future that has been waiting for you. Type "I walk in divine elevation" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 303 is now activated. Radiant soul, as we step into this next revelation, Archangel Michael is drawing even closer, urging you to pay attention with every fiber of your spirit. Because what comes now is not just insight. It is the unveiling of the future that the December 7th attack tried to block. This is where heaven begins to reveal the blessing that was protected, the shift that was preserved, and the divine alignment that is already unfolding behind the scenes of your life. Stay with me. Your spirit is about to receive clarity that will rearrange the way you see everything happening around you. Michael shows me something powerful. The attack that tried to reach you on December 7th was specifically aimed at delaying a breakthrough that was already scheduled for your path. Not a small blessing, not an ordinary change, but a turning point, one that would shift your emotional state, your spiritual clarity, and your overall direction. The enemy was not after your happiness, it was after your timing. Because timing is where destiny either accelerates or slows down. And the enemy understood that once you stepped into this next cycle, certain old battles would never have access to you again. This attack was meant to make you question yourself, to make you feel unstable, to make you doubt your intuition, your decisions, your voice, your worth. Because doubt slows movement. Confusion delays blessings. Emotional disruption creates hesitation, and hesitation can shift destiny. But heaven intervened before doubt could root itself in your spirit. Archangel Michael shielded your mind, your heart, and the internal compass that guides your path. And now he is revealing exactly what was being guarded. You are entering a period of divine restoration. Not partial but complete. Not temporary but foundational. This restoration will touch places within you that you forgot still needed healing. It will touch areas of your life that have been stagnant for too long. It will breathe life into dreams you paused, decisions you delayed, and opportunities you couldn't yet see. Michael says their peace was protected because their future depends on it. Your peace is not just comfort. It is strategy. It is alignment. It is the vibrational frequency through which heaven communicates with you. When your peace is intact, you hear internal guidance clearly. You sense danger faster. You recognize blessings instantly. You walk with a confidence that darkness cannot manipulate. This is why the enemy attacked your peace, because it is the gateway to your destiny. But listen carefully now, because this next truth is deeply significant. You are about to make choices that will shift your entire life path. Choices regarding relationships, directions, priorities, commitments, or inner transformation. And these choices require clarity. They require emotional balance. They require discernment. If the enemy had succeeded in shaking your peace, your judgment would have been clouded, and you might have walked away from something heaven has been preparing for you. Michael shows me that a divine opening is coming. A moment of alignment where what you have been praying for will begin materializing. But heaven needed your spirit steady enough to recognize it when it arrives. Many blessings come quietly. Many opportunities appear disguised. Many shifts begin subtly, like whispers, and only a peaceful spirit can discern them clearly. This is why the attack came right before the shift. The enemy always strikes where blessings gather. Heaven is now placing you into a timeline where clarity will sharpen. Intuition will heighten. Your spirit will move into a grounded stillness that makes it difficult for anything to disturb your inner world. The peace that is coming will be unlike the temporary calm you've known before. This will be a peace that sits in your bones. A peace that no longer wavers. A peace that becomes your spiritual authority. Michael says, what was once fragile is becoming fortified. Your emotional boundaries are strengthening. Your discernment is sharpening. Your inner voice is rising in power. Your spiritual stability is becoming unshakable. This is the new version of you emerging. Strong, centered, guided, aligned. And this emergence is the very reason the December 7th attack was so desperate. Because when you walk in this level of spiritual awareness, old energies lose their grip. Old fears lose their influence. Old pain loses its language. The patterns that once held you captive will no longer resonate with your elevated soul. But here is the revelation that Archangel Michael is emphasizing with urgency. The blessing ahead of you requires you to stay connected to this message until the end. Because there is still one more layer of understanding that will help you recognize exactly when the shift begins. There will be signs, subtle but powerful indicators that the new chapter is opening. And heaven does not want you to miss even a single one of them. Child of divine clarity, your future is not being delayed. It is being aligned. And everything the December 7th attack tried to block is already protected, preserved, and redirected back toward you. The blessing that was meant for you remains yours. Nothing hath been stolen. Nothing hath been lost. Only exposed, intercepted, and transformed into a divine advantage. Stay close now because the next revelation will show you how to recognize the moment your breakthrough begins to unfold. Type "My future is secure" in the comments if this is resonating with your spirit. Blessing code 808 is now active. Beloved one, as we step deeper into the unfolding of this divine message, Archangel Michael is drawing your spirit forward with an urgency that cannot be ignored. What comes now is not just revelation, it is recognition. It is the moment where you begin to see the signs that heaven has already placed in your path, marking the shift that the December 7th attack tried to prevent. Your spirit is entering a season where nothing will happen by accident, nothing will feel random, and every moment will carry meaning. Stay present, because these next words will awaken a knowing in you that has been waiting to rise. Michael shows me that the blessing protected during the December 7th attack is already moving toward you, not slowly, but deliberately. Heaven is aligning your steps with precision, and the signs of this shift have been appearing around you in ways you may not have recognized yet. A sudden moment of clarity, an unexpected calm, A random thought that feels guided instead of accidental. A moment where your anxiety suddenly loosens. A conversation that comes at the right time. A pull towards something new. A release of something old. These are not coincidences. They are divine indicators. Heaven speaks most clearly in subtle movements. Your spirit has already sensed it. Your intuition has been whispering it. Your energy has been adjusting to it. Your dreams have been revealing it. Your heart has been preparing for it. Michael says, tell them, the shift has already begun. But because your peace was under attack, you may have overlooked the early signs. This is why heaven is revealing them now, so you never question what is coming again. The first sign is internal. You will feel something inside you settle, as though a storm you didn't know you were carrying simply dissolves. Your thoughts will become lighter. Your spirit will feel more grounded. You will notice that the things that used to drain you no longer hold the same power. Emotional reactions that once felt automatic will now feel distant. The old patterns will lose their voice. You will respond differently, not because you're trying to, but because you've shifted beyond them. The second sign is energetic. You'll find yourself becoming more sensitive to the atmosphere around you, not in a burdensome way, but in a discerning way. You will feel when someone's intentions are off. You will sense when an environment is not aligned. You will detect truth quicker and lies sooner and clarity faster. Your spirit is being sharpened, and this sharpening is the evidence that heaven is preparing you for something significant. The third sign is external. Doors will begin to open. Doors that were previously stuck, silent or confusing. A path that seemed blocked will suddenly feel clear. Something you thought you missed will reappear. Communication will shift. Opportunities will emerge quietly and naturally. You won't have to chase them. They will flow toward you. This is what happens when heaven reroutes what was meant for you back into your life. Michael says, the blessing is not delayed. It is redirected. And now it returns with greater force. The fourth sign is emotional release. You will find yourself letting go of things you didn't have the strength to release before. Old attachments, old fears, old expectations, old disappointments. They will begin to loosen their grip. Love through struggle, but through grace. Not through effort, but through divine timing. Suddenly, what once felt heavy will now feel distant. The pain you expected to return will return. The emotions you thought you'd have to fight through will simply dissolve. This is the sign that heaven has healed a place in you the enemy tried to reopen. And the fifth sign, the most powerful of them all, is unexpected alignment. Something will click. Something will shift. Something will fall into place without explanation. A moment will come where things that felt scattered suddenly make sense. You will see why the attack came. You will understand what it was trying to block. You will realize just how close you truly are to a breakthrough. Michael says, their life is entering divine order. And when divine order enters, every area of your life begins to realign. Your relationships become clearer. Your priorities become sharper. Your decisions become easier. Your path becomes brighter. Your peace becomes deeper. Child of heaven, you are stepping into a new vibration, a new emotional frequency, a new spiritual identity. You will no longer operate from the old version of yourself. You are rising into clarity, into strength, into confidence, into divine awareness, and nothing from your past can follow you into this new season. Stay with me, because the next revelation will show you what heaven is preparing to restore, the very blessing that was destined for you, protected for you, and now returning to you with multiplied favor. Type "I recognize my shift" if this is awakening something within you. Blessing code 616 is now activated. Beloved soul of destiny, as we move into this next revelation, Archangel Michael's presence surrounds you with a force so gentle yet so powerful that your spirit cannot help but lean in. What comes now is not just encouragement, it is confirmation. The breakthrough that the December 7th attack tried to interrupt is not only approaching, it is already forming. You are standing at the edge of divine restoration, and heaven is preparing to place something back into your life that was either taken, delayed, or weakened by past seasons. This is the moment where the pieces begin to rearrange, the clarity begins to sharpen, and the blessing that belongs to you returns with divine momentum. Michael shows me a vision of your life like a tapestry. Threads that were once tangled are now being realigned. And he says, what was disrupted will be restored. What was delayed will be accelerated. What was weakened will be fortified. The December 7th attack was not about harming your spirit. It was about interfering with your restoration. But heaven stepped in before the enemy could distort the path, and now the restoration is proceeding unhindered. There is something in your life that has been out of alignment for a while. Maybe it's your emotional balance, a lost sense of direction, a relationship that drained you, a dream you set aside, your motivation, or even your inner strength. And Michael reveals that this is the very thing heaven is now restoring. You are entering a season where what felt broken will begin to mend, what seemed unclear will begin to make sense, and what felt delayed will begin to accelerate. This is not wishful thinking. It is spiritual reality unfolding. Michael says, they are stepping into reclamation. This means heaven is giving you back what you couldn't protect in past seasons. Not because you failed, but because you were growing. There were moments when your emotions were fragile, when your boundaries were blurred, when your spirit was tired from carrying too much. The enemy took advantage of those moments. But now, those days are behind you. You have stepped into a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, and more spiritually grounded. Heaven can trust you with what is returning now. This restoration will come in waves. First, through internal clarity. Then, through emotional healing. Next, through external alignment. And finally, through divine reward. Michael shows me that you are about to see closure where you once saw confusion. You will see truth where you once saw mixed signals. You will feel peace where you once felt emptiness. You will experience forward movement where you once felt stuck. This restoration is not just emotional. It will affect your path, your decisions, your relationships, and even your opportunities. The enemy targeted your peace because your peace is the foundation of this restoration. Without peace, you would not recognize what heaven is returning to you. Without clarity, you might overlook the blessing when it appears. Without emotional stability, you might question the very thing you prayed for. This is why the attack came before the shift. It was a last attempt to distort your discernment. But Michael says, the blessing is secured. The restoration is written. Nothing can interrupt it now. A divine rearranging is happening around you. People may shift. Plans may change. Circumstances may move suddenly. Do not be alarmed. This is heaven repositioning everything that belongs in your new season. Nothing is falling apart. Everything is falling into place. And child of the Most High, the restoration that is coming is not partial. Heaven never returns something in the same condition it was taken. What is coming back will be healed, strengthened, elevated, aligned, and multiplied. You will not receive the old version. You will receive the transformed version, the restored version, the upgraded version. Michael says, Tell them what is returning will bless them in ways the enemy hoped they'd never experience. Your life is entering the phase where the reward begins. Not because you fought perfectly, but because you endured. Not because you never struggled, but because you never surrendered your spirit. The December 7th attack tried to overwhelm you, but you kept moving. You kept believing. You kept holding on to your light even when you didn't have words to describe the battle. Now heaven is honoring your resilience. And as we move into the next revelation, Archangel Michael will begin showing you what this restoration will unlock, the specific breakthroughs and blessings that will unfold as the attack loses its power forever. Before we continue deeper, take a moment to lift this message by liking, sharing, and commenting to strengthen the spiritual reach of this video. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, so every divine warning, blessing, and message meant for your path arrives right on time. Type "I receive my restoration" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your spirit. Blessing code 1001 is now active. Beloved, as you feel this wave of restoration rising over your life, hear this with your spirit. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you become a vessel through which God's light reaches those who are fighting battles silently and alone. This isn't just generosity. It is a prophetic act, a seed sown into the deliverance of others who need the same protection Archangel Michael has shown you. The word says that those who sow into God's work reap a harvest beyond measure, and right now heaven is whispering, "I am calling you to take part in what I am doing." This is not about helping a creator. This is about standing with heaven as it rescues souls, lifts burdens, and shatters spiritual attacks just like the one that tried to reach you on December 7th. When you give, you activate divine covering over your own home, your peace, and your future. Release your support with authority, and may God return it to you in waves of clarity, protection, and supernatural breakthrough. Step into this moment. Move in faith. Beloved carrier of light, as I move into this next revelation, Archangel Michael's voice becomes steady and unmistakably clear, because now we are entering the territory of manifestation. What was protected on December 7th? What was restored in your spirit? What was realigned in your atmosphere is now preparing to show up in your physical life. This is not theory anymore. This is not preparation anymore. This is the moment where heaven begins translating the spiritual victory into visible blessings. Stay with me closely, because what I am about to reveal will help you recognize the exact moment when your breakthrough begins to materialize. Michael shows me that the energy around you is shifting rapidly. You may already feel it, a sense that something is about to happen, even if you can't describe it. A quiet expectation, a spiritual alertness, a pull toward something new. This is your spirit detecting the ripple of what heaven is releasing. The December 7th attack failed because heaven needed you to be awake, aware, and spiritually aligned for this manifestation. He says they are entering a season where the unseen becomes seen. That means prayers begin to turn into outcomes. Pain begins to turn into wisdom. Confusion begins to turn into clarity. Waiting begins to turn into fulfillment. And the internal battles you fought silently begin to reveal their purpose publicly. This next phase is where heaven rewards what you overcame. Michael reveals that your breakthrough will not arrive in the form of a dramatic event. It will begin subtly, like a shift in the air, like a door that opens quietly, like an opportunity that seems small but carries enormous impact. Heaven rarely announces breakthroughs loudly. Breakthroughs arrive like seeds, small in appearance, enormous in destiny. You will notice manifestation through three primary shifts. First, your external environment will respond to your internal healing. People will treat you differently. Situations that drain you will begin to release you. Opportunities will rise where you once experienced blockages. Paths that were tangled will begin to straighten. This is not coincidence. It is divine alignment responding to your elevated frequency. Second, resources will begin to move toward you. Support, ideas, clarity, guidance, connections, solutions. They will begin to appear effortlessly. Not because you are trying harder, but because you are now in the frequency where these blessings naturally flow. Heaven moves resources toward those who are spiritually ready, and the protection that covered you in December ensured that you'd be ready now. Third, confirmation will come repeatedly. In conversations, in dreams, in numbers, in moments of stillness, in unexpected signs. You will hear phrases that speak directly to your situation. You will feel nudges toward decisions you've been hesitant about. You will experience synchronicities that reveal heaven's hand guiding you. Manifestation is always accompanied by confirmation. Michael says, "Tell them, the blessing will not pass them by. It is assigned to them." And now comes the deeper revelation. Your breakthrough is tied to something you prayed for long before December 7th. Something you thought heaven delayed. Something you thought maybe wasn't meant for you anymore. But heaven didn't say no. Heaven said not yet. Because the version of you who prayed for it wasn't ready to receive it. But the version of you who survived that attack, who rose above emotional imbalance, who stepped into restored peace is ready now. This is why the attack failed. This is why the alignment is happening now. This is why your spirit feels the shift. Heaven was waiting for you to evolve into the version of yourself that could hold the blessing without losing your peace. Michael shows me that your manifestation will touch an area of your life that has felt stagnant for too long, an area where you've waited, hoped, struggled, prayed, and questioned. That area is about to breathe. Life is returning to what felt dormant. Movement is returning to what felt stuck. Hope is returning to what felt silent. And child of the divine, listen closely. The blessing is not coming to test you. It is coming to lift you. It is coming to confirm that you did not go through the battle for nothing. It is coming to reveal that your protection was not random. It was purposeful. The December 7th attack tried to cloud your vision so you couldn't see what heaven had already prepared. But Michael blocked it because your breakthrough was too close to risk any interference. Heaven guarded your peace so you could receive this blessing with clarity, not confusion, with confidence, not fear, with alignment, not chaos. The next revelation will show you why this blessing had to be delayed and why it is being released now. Heaven's timing is perfection, and you are about to understand the divine strategy behind it. Stay present because this next unveiling will touch the deepest part of your destiny. Type "I welcome my breakthrough" in the comments if this is touching your spirit. Blessing code 1717 is now released. Beloved vessel of divine purpose, as we enter this next revelation, Archangel Michael's voice becomes steady like a pillar of light, and he urges you to lean in with full attention, because this is the part where heaven unveils why your blessing was delayed, why the December 7th attack came when it did, and why the release is happening now instead of earlier. This is the moment where divine timing becomes clear, and suddenly everything you endured begins to make spiritual sense. Your journey is not random. Your delays were not failures. Your setbacks were not punishments. You were being prepared, positioned, and refined for a blessing that required a version of you that could hold it without losing yourself. Michael shows me a powerful truth. There were previous seasons where you were close to breakthroughs, but your emotional foundation was not strong enough to sustain the blessings. Not because you were weak, but because your peace was easily disrupted. You were sensitive to chaos that wasn't yours. You were vulnerable to energies around you. You absorbed stress, conflict, and pressure that others placed on you. And heaven knew that if certain blessings arrived too early, the weight of them might have felt overwhelming instead of liberating. Heaven does not delay blessings out of punishment. Heaven delays blessings for protection. Michael says, their spirit needed anchoring before their blessing could arrive. Your blessing is not small. It is transformational. It requires discernment. It requires emotional maturity. It requires wisdom. It requires boundaries. It requires peace. Because this blessing is not just something you receive, it is something you must carry. And heaven refused to give it to you until your spirit was strong enough to hold it without breaking. This is why the December 7th attack happened. It was a final attempt to destabilize your inner world right before heaven released what you had been waiting for. The attack was not the enemy sensing weakness. It was the enemy sensing your readiness. And the enemy panics when destiny gets too close. But heaven intervened. Michael stood guard, and your peace was preserved so your blessing could arrive safely. Now, hear this with your spirit. The reason the blessing is being released now is because you have grown into the version of yourself who will not sabotage it, run from it, or question if you are worthy of it. The emotional storms that once shook you now move around you without entering your spirit. The wounds that once defined you no longer control your decisions. The fears that once silenced you no longer determine your direction. You have been transformed internally, and heaven is rewarding that transformation externally. Michael shows me that heaven waited for 3 specific alignments within you. First, your clarity. You needed to see with spiritual eyes instead of emotional eyes. And now, your intuition is sharper than ever. You sense truth. You recognize alignment. You feel energy shift before anyone speaks a word. This clarity is the spiritual lens through which you will recognize the blessing when it appears. Second, your peace. Your peace used to waver easily because you were absorbing too much from your surroundings. But now, you are learning to protect your spirit, guard your heart, and release what does not belong to you. This stability is essential because blessings require grounding. Third, your identity. There was a time when you doubted your worth, when you underestimated your strength, when you questioned whether you were chosen. But now you stand differently. You carry yourself differently. Your spirit knows who you are. And heaven could not release certain blessings until you truly recognized your own value. Michael says, they can now hold what once would have broken them. This is why the release is happening now. This is why everything feels like it's shifting. This is why the December 7th attack failed. Because heaven saw that you had stepped into a version of yourself that cannot be manipulated by old triggers, old fears, or old patterns. You are spiritually maturing at a pace that heaven had been waiting for. And the moment your spirit aligned, heaven's timing unlocked. This is divine synchronization. But here is the revelation that will shake your spirit gently awake. Your blessing is connected to something you prayed for in vulnerability, in silence, or in desperation. Something you thought was forgotten. Heaven never forgot. Heaven never dismissed it. Heaven was preparing you for the moment when the blessing would no longer feel overwhelming but aligned. Michael shows me that what is coming will not feel chaotic. It will feel peaceful. It will feel right. It will feel natural. It will feel guided. Heaven does not bless you with confusion. Heaven blesses you with clarity. And the deeper truth is this: if the blessing had arrived earlier, it would have collided with unhealed parts of you. If it had arrived before December 7th, the attack might have distorted your perception of it. But because Michael blocked the attack, the blessing is arriving in a purified atmosphere. Child of divine timing, you are stepping into the phase where heaven says, now. Not soon. Not maybe. Not almost. But now. And as we enter the next revelation, Michael will show you exactly what this blessing will transform, elevate, or break open in your life. The next message will reveal something you need to be spiritually prepared for, because manifestation always comes with responsibility and expansion. Hold still, the unveiling grows deeper. Type "my timing at divine" in the comments if this message is confirming what you felt inside. Blessing code 4848 is now activated. Beloved chosen one, as we step into this next sacred unveiling, Archangel Michael's presence surrounds you like a shield of warm fire, and his voice resonates with unmistakable certainty, because what you are about to hear will prepare you for the transformation your blessing is bringing. Up to this point, heaven has revealed why the attack came, why it failed, and why your timing has now opened. But this is where you learn what your blessing will change. Not just what it will enter your life, but what it will shift, release, elevate, and uproot. Stay close, because this revelation will help you walk into your next season with power instead of overwhelm. Michael shows me that the blessing that is approaching your life is not designed to simply make you feel better. It is designed to change your direction. Heaven is not giving you something small. Heaven is not giving you something casual. Heaven is giving you something that will adjust the trajectory of your future. This blessing carries weight. It carries purpose. It carries influence. It carries healing. It carries alignment. And because of that, several areas of your life will begin to shift the moment this blessing enters. First, your relationships will realign. People who cannot walk with you into this new season will naturally distance themselves. Old connections that once drained you will fall away without effort. People who were spiritually misaligned with your growth will lose access to your inner world. This is not loss. It is protection. Your blessing cannot sit in the presence of those who would misuse it, misunderstand it, or attempt to pull you back into an older version of yourself. Michael says their circle must match their elevation. This blessing will filter your environment for you. Second, your priorities will sharpen. There will be things you no longer chase. Some desires will fade because they were born from old wounds. Some habits will fall away because they no longer serve your path. You will feel a sudden clarity about what matters and what doesn't. Your spirit will crave peace more than drama, purpose more than distraction, truth more than validation. The blessing is bringing maturity, and this maturity will refine your focus. Third, your confidence will rise, not arrogance, but divine assurance. You will begin to see who you truly are. The timid part of you will fade. The doubting part of you will quiet. The insecure part of you will release its grip. This blessing will awaken the version of you the enemy hoped you would never meet. The strong one, the wise one, the intuitive one, the spiritually grounded one. You will walk in authority without needing to prove anything to anyone. Fourth, your path will open in unexpected ways. Opportunities will appear that you never imagined. Ideas will spark. Conversations will unfold at perfect timing. People will show up who are meant to support your elevation. Doors will open that were once shut. Heaven has been holding these openings until your spirit was strong enough to walk through them without hesitation. Fifth, the inner battle you've carried will finally begin to quiet. That lingering fear, that recurring doubt, that feeling of being held back internally, that whisper that said, maybe it won't happen. All of that dissolves when the blessing arrives. Not instantly, but unmistakably. Your inner world will shift into a place of trust, because your spirit will recognize that what's arriving is divinely orchestrated. Michael says, their blessing will change their identity. Not who you are at your core, but who you believe yourself to be. You will stop seeing yourself through the lens of your wounds. You will stop seeing yourself through the lens of your past. You will stop seeing yourself as someone who survives and begin to see yourself as someone who creates, leads, influences, transforms, and builds. Your blessing will put you in a position where you no longer respond to life, you shape it. But here is the part that heaven needs you to understand deeply. Change, real, spiritual change, can feel uncomfortable at first. Even blessings can feel heavy if you aren't prepared. That is why heaven delivered this message. That is why Michael blocked the attack. That is why your peace was protected. You are being given the emotional and spiritual strength to handle what is coming, because what is coming is bigger than you think. Your life is about to level up in a way that may surprise even you. People may not understand your next moves. Some may feel you're changing too fast. Others may question your silence, your boundaries, or your new clarity. Do not let any of that shake you. You are not changing quickly. You are changing divinely. Heaven doesn't follow human timelines. Heaven moves when alignment is perfect. Michael says, tell them, they are ready, and what is coming will prove it. In the next revelation, we step into the final unveiling, the moment where Michael reveals how to protect this blessing, how to hold this blessing, and how to step boldly into the new season heaven has prepared for you. Say here something life-altering is being prepared for your spirit. Type I am ready for the shift in the comments if this message is speaking directly to your heart. Blessing code 3555 is now active. Beloved soul of divine destiny, as we enter this final revelation, Archangel Michael stands fully present, his wings stretched wide around your spirit, sealing the journey you have walked through. Every word of this message. What began with a warning about the December 7th attack now concludes with a powerful truth. You have stepped into a new spiritual identity, and heaven is preparing you to carry the blessing that survived the attack. This last part is not just instruction. It is activation. It is the moment where heaven teaches you how to hold your blessing, protect your peace, and step boldly into the future that has already begun to unfold. Michael shows me that your blessing is not fragile. Your blessing is not temporary. Your blessing is not something that can be stolen the way old energies once attempted to steal from you. This blessing is fortified, is sealed. It is protected by divine order. But what heaven needs from you now is awareness. Awareness of how to sustain the peace that made this blessing possible in the first place. He says, tell them, the blessing thrives where peace lives. Your peace is not just emotional comfort. It is spiritual oxygen. When your peace is steady, your discernment stays sharp. Your intuition remains clear. Your decisions remain aligned. Your path stays open. The enemy's only hope was to disrupt your peace, because your peace is the foundation of your clarity, and your clarity is the foundation of your destiny. Now that heaven has restored that peace, Michael needs you to protect it as fiercely as he did. Your first task in protecting your blessing is guarding your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. Not everyone should hear your plans. Not everyone should influence your emotions. Heaven is calling you into a new level of boundaries, not out of fear, but out of stewardship. Your spirit is stepping into a higher frequency, and not everyone can rise with you. Pay attention to who drains you, who confuses you, who unsettles you. Your discomfort is heaven's communication. Your second task is trusting your intuition. The same inner voice that warned you on December 7th, the same inner knowing that sensed the attack, the same spiritual instinct that kept you from falling. That voice is not random. It is divine. Your intuition is the language of your angels. When something does not feel right, it is not just a feeling, it is a message. When something feels peaceful, it is not just emotion, it is alignment. Heaven is urging you to trust every whisper, every nudge, every moment of clarity that rises from within. Your third task is walking boldly into what heaven is releasing. Do not shrink. Do not doubt yourself. Do not delay. Do not question whether you are worthy. You have been prepared, refined, and strengthened for this moment. The blessing that is coming requires confidence, not arrogance, but spiritual certainty. You are stepping into opportunities that once would have intimidated you. You are stepping into clarity that once would have overwhelmed you. You are stepping into a version of yourself that once felt out of reach. Michael says their blessing is not ahead of them, it is upon them. Your spirit may already feel it, a strange calm, a quiet excitement, an inner knowing that something has shifted in your timeline. You are not waiting for a season to begin. You are standing in the opening of it right now. Your blessing will appear in ways that feel natural, gentle, and aligned. Heaven does not force blessings, it flows them. But here is the most important truth of all. The same attack that tried to rob you on December 7th accidentally activated your elevation. Heaven used what was meant for harm as a confirmation of your destiny. The assault did not weaken you, it woke you. It did not threaten your future, it clarified it. It did not interrupt your blessing, it proved its closeness. Michael says, they are rising into a season the enemy was terrified of. And now the final step is simple. Walk forward. Walk with your head high. Walk with peace as your shield. Walk with intuition as your compass. Walk with confidence as your mantle. Walk knowing that heaven has already cleared the path ahead of you. This message did not come to warn you only. It came to empower you, to align you, to awaken you, to activate the destiny that December 7th could not touch. Your life is about to unfold in ways your past cannot comprehend. Your blessing is not just arrival, it is transformation. Heaven has waited for this moment, and now this moment belongs to you. Before you leave this sacred space, lift the vibration of this message by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Your engagement becomes a spiritual signal that allows this message to reach others who desperately need their own divine protection and awakening. Type "I seal my destiny" and light in the comments if your spirit receives this final revelation. Blessing code 999 is now released. Beloved, as we close this divine journey, hear this final call with your heart wide open. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a channel. You are fueling a spiritual movement. You are helping God's voice echo into the lives of those who are battling attacks just like the one you survive. Heaven says, what you release into my work, I will return to you in multiplied peace, protection, and favor. This is your moment to respond in faith. I am inviting you personally to stand with me in this mission. Your giving becomes a prophetic act that opens the windows of heaven over your home, your spirit, and your destiny. Release your seed boldly, and may the God who sent Archangel Michael to defend you on December 7th surround you with divine reward. Step into your blessing, move with heaven now,